Welcome back to the Gfinity Arena. Week 4, match 2 in the bag. The return of Magnus for Method. Result was a 3-1 victory. Allowed Epsilon back into the match in their words. But Epsilon, I mean, there's a lot of positives to take from that, but unfortunately, no points to take from it. So, the crowd were tense throughout. As that young lady could see, she was pumped about it. But yes, my bipod gets that final goal in overtime to get the result in the bag. So, looking at the results so far, if you've just joined us right now, where on earth have you been? Because you've missed Team Infused losing to Endpoint 3-1, and then the Method versus Epsilon 3-1 victory there. Now, let's talk about Excel versus Prophecy right now, gentlemen. Swap over from the casting area to the analyst desk. So, on set, Gregan, what do we think about this Excel team lineup?
They've been very strong so far through the Elite Series. They've performed pretty much week on week. They've been one of those teams who we every time you see them come up, you almost expect them to win. But I always see this middle period of a season as one of those, you have to win these games. If you want to be in contention, you cannot put your foot off the gas. You have to make sure that you're putting results in. And that's what happened, what put teams into playoffs last season. We saw Endpoint go on that run. We saw Infused go on that run. Excel need to keep up the pressure, because if they don't and one of the teams around them puts in a little performance, 3 or 4 weeks of getting those wins, then they'll find themselves out and playing catch-up, and you just can't afford to do that this time of the season. Yeah,
what do you make of Pondex in this season?
So he was the big change for them. He was the difference maker.
One thing is for
but
sure,
unfortunately for them, they didn't look quite as strong last week as we were hoping. At the beginning of the season, it would have been Method are winning all their games, Excel are winning all their games except for Method. That would have been the predictions. Whereas now, it's very different, because Prophecy have looked very strong and Excel are kind of on the way down. And as you said, it's very important now that they step it back up to the stage they were when they're competing very well in the RLCS.
And they losing to Reason won't have done them very good at all in terms of their confidence. But hey, do you know what? This is what happens. They're taking on Prophecy, an incredibly strong lineup, made 2 massive changes, 2 signings, shall we say, from Infused. How are they gelling as a team?
Yeah, the agents have been busy, and this team have looked like they've gone from strength to strength every week. And I know you were mentioning, we were talking about just before we went back live, about iKnight and how he sort of stepped up as a leader, and not one of those sort of encouraging leaders. He's very sort of strict in what he wants to see from his team, and it's working for them. And we talked about Sebadan and iKnight, how they were so good last season for Infused. They've started so well this season, but Mummy Snow has just put in performances over the last 2 weeks. His performances have been standout for me, because he's been the gel that has allowed these 2 other players to do what they do best. He needs to keep doing that. I think this Prophecy team, they're definitely going to be making those playoff places if they continue to put in the performances they have so far in the Elite Series.
All right, well, thank you very much, Onset. Gregan, I'm going to... I like you to me are treasures, but a man who absolutely loves treasure is a man who's dressed as a pirate today. Talk to me about your booty, sir, because let's crack on with this one.
Excuse me.
Prophecy have been incredibly strong, real performances from them week in, week out. Why have they been so strong?
Well, it's unfortunate for Doomsy that he's lost Sebadam and iKnight, but fortunate for Prophecy that they've picked them up, because they have really changed Prophecy's tune, and is going to be looking at Sebadam for this following minute or so, just following him in the beautiful skyline, the latest addition to the Rocket League garage. But one thing is Sebadam does really well throughout this entire passage of play is recoveries. And you'll notice that every time he's landing, he's wanting to land on his wheels, but also he wants to, face the direction that he's going to land, just so he doesn't have to, power slide or turn whenever it's not necessary. So all the time, even when he's getting demoed here, straight back into the play. He doesn't go for the back corner boost like a lot of players would. He wants to, go right back towards the ball, get into the action, causing a lot of pressure. Making players in the other team enter challenges that they might not want to be involved in. So Sebadam always staying in a danger zone. There's another 50-50 that he's just forcing in deep into enemy territory, and eventually he should be able to, with this much pressure, force a mistake that's going to lead to a goal.
So how can Excel, break this team down? Because we know how strong Prophecy can be, but how do you counteract what they're doing at the moment?
Well, if you expect a player like Sebadam to be this aggressive and to posture this far forward, then you need to try to, fake him out. Because if you can read that challenge before it happens, then, you can play around it. Just pretend to hit the ball and actually don't hit it at all. Like right here, we see that exact thing happening as the ball does get faked and it ends up resulting in a goal because the defender thought that the hit was coming in and in the end it just didn't.
It's about faking. Ahoy. Thank you very much. I threw in a little pun there at the end. Johnny Boy, looking forward to you commentating. Head over with me right now because for the arena and wherever you are in the world right now watching this, it's time to welcome the players out on to this very stage. So, for Excel, you've got Pondex, Niels Cook and Census. And for the mighty opposition of Prophecy, you have Mummy Snow, you also have Sebadam and Ionite! Some aggressive punches in my hand there, but loving that Niels Cook, you never disappoint. Hopefully you're not a damp squib in performance today. Let's go for a quick break right now. The players are here, they are ready. In just a moment, we will have this epic clash on the way for you. I can do that with my head. Welcome back to Gfinity Arena for our little Halloween special for Rocket League. We're about to start match 3, and I need to know the predictions from our analysts. So I'll tell you what, I'll go across to Gregan. Who are you going for, sir?
I'm going for Excel. I think last week was a blip and they're going to be coming in stronger this week. I don't know if I'm going to put the fear in their minds by me standing behind them, but I definitely think they're going to improve this week.
Okay, oh, and a little dab there to finish. Beautiful stuff from you. And what do you reckon on set? Well, who are you going for? I take it you're not behind the desk over there. You are going for Prophecy, right?
I'm going for Prophecy. I like what I see from these guys. I think they've got the drive to perform as well. I've just heard this man here just saying, just make sure our calls are on point this week. So little things like that before you get into a series, just getting that mentality right, making sure that everyone's not making any mistakes or isn't likely to, I think is definitely going to give them the advantage in this series.
Do you know, I was quite fortunate enough during the last game, I was able to sit with the Prophecy boys while they were warming up. I hope I didn't put them off at all. Now, Johnny boy, before we set sail,
That's very good,
can I ask Shogun, did you get a bite in the break? Little bite? Because you're Dracula, did you get a bite?
Yep.
Yeah, little snack?
Yep.
Who do you think is going to win, guys?
I've got to go with my man on set. I think Prophecy 3-0. Why would you predict against them? They're doing great, and Excel, although they have been one of the best teams in Europe outside of the Gfinity Elite Series, you know, they've lost a series so far, and I think this could be the second one.
Absolutely. There is a huge difference between online play, where we see them really, I'm going to hate myself for this, excel.
Oh, no.
But the difference is, like, they seem to have, like, a drop-off in ability whenever we see them sort of in this Lanix setting, where it's just very different. And you already heard that Prophecy are going to be prioritizing the comms, want to make sure that they don't get any mistakes. I want to really point out how annoying it is just to move your arms.
Just keep them inside.
Every time I go, it's just like, whoop.
Just lock in.
It's all
just
good.
lock yourselves.
Okay, there we are.
There
Good. I'm ready to
You're
go.
set.
I'm in the rugby position, ready to go, and I'm hoping these guys are all ready to pounce on one another and make sure that they are ready to take this win. Because either way, one of the two things happens here. Either Excel breaks the Prophecy undefeating record, and they keep themselves in a running for a top spot, or Prophecy continues to do what they've done all season long, and they run over and they keep themselves going.
Yeah, it's that fast play style, the high pressure from Sebadam and Ignite, and then we've got Mummy Snow showing up, and he's looking a lot more part of a team than he did last season, which, you know, Prophecy last season with Flarkey and Mummy Snow Sniper, they started off quite well, and then they just kind of all went in their own separate directions, which isn't a good thing for a Rocket League 3v3 team. But Mummy Snow, I think his performance against Method was outstanding, and if he can replicate that, it's going to be great.
Absolutely, but we always talk about when it comes to Excel just how much of like a team strategy that they have, very much like a North American team that we see from them. Pondex, I keep calling for it, and I still want to see it. I want him moved forward in the rotation. Too often I find him back, and whilst he is a very good ball carrier when he's got 100 boosts and able to just take it as far as he wants, I feel like he's better when he's just always on motion, when he's always moving, because he's got one of the best recoveries I've seen out of any player. And to really hamper that sort of momentum that he can put up is a huge mistake, in my opinion.
Yeah, Ponix, and also one of the best strikers in the world. But he looked like a better striker before joining up with Excel. I think he's getting a bit damper. But I think the crowd were pretty hyped earlier. But can you do one better, Shogun?
Can I do one better?
I got them a little bit hyped earlier, especially for a British crowd. But gonna hand it over to you now.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for two of our top teams in the Gfinity season number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, get yourselves hyped, get yourselves ready. 3, 2, 1, let's go!
They're dabbling.
It was dabbling. It was a British clap.
A tentative clap. I think that I might have won that, but only because the game has already started by the time you finish that rambling, parroting, intro. It was decent though. I'll give you that. It was one of the better ones I've heard, because I've not heard many Rocket League intros in my day. But here we are anyway, Prophecy Excel. A match to start off with Ignite. I think the most underrated player in the world at the moment, but guys, you gotta start rating this man. He does it all. Look at that air roll shot with power into the top shelf.
Niels Cook's touch though was simply not good enough. Tried to pinch it up against the wall, but it's much easier to do when the wall is completely flat, but instead he went onto the corner. Much more difficult, didn't quite do it, and it basically just set it straight up for his opponent. So Prophecy going to take the opening goal and set themselves up for a solid series, but Excel will want to respond as quickly as they can, and Zenzus showing off some of that intent indeed, taking an early shot, not necessarily going to danger the Prophecy defense, but at least letting them know, look, we are here. Yeah,
that's the danger with Excel when you're facing up against them. We talked about earlier, we want to see Pondex move up more, and that's not to say that Zenzas and Niels are bad strikers in their own right. They're all great strikers. That's a post or a ceiling. What am I talking about? Crossbar is the word I'm looking for. Pinch by Ignite to get the save. But every single member on this Excel roster and something that's becoming more and more prevalent in Rocket League. You know, they're all great strikers of the ball. They're all great goal scorers. Phenomenal from almost any angle. That is the danger when you go up against them. Nowhere is safe. You need to be paying attention at all times. Sebedam, no stranger to the 50-50. Look at him just inviting that one in. He says, come at me. I'm ready for you.
And we're actually seeing some car variety for a change in a Rocket League match. Usually it's all Octanes.
Oh, we're seeing some circles here. This is a disconnect.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your seatbelts on. We're experiencing turbulence right now.
Don't be fooled. Sebedam has not just decided to go for...
His rotations are great.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
He throws a jump into the mix. But yeah, that was just a bit of server lag there. So the ball actually did just continue rolling for that entire period, and everybody was stuck in the position that they were in when the server did start to lag. So although we saw Sebedam circling there, what would have actually happened server side is this car would have been stopped in a standstill. So then as soon as everybody's PCs catches up as the internet kicks back into action, they're just going to revert right back to where the server was.
Speaking of kicking back into action, it's exactly what Excel want to do at this point in time. Pick themselves up a goal. It's going to roll towards their own half. They've managed to keep it in the halfway point ever since we've had the server lag. They need to try and find themselves a way through. Niels Cook's going to have to try and rotate himself back. Very difficult for them to get a setup. Very crucial, especially in these high-level games, to make sure that our rotation is very clean. Otherwise, you can beat as many players as you want. You've still got no options.
And I think this, if Excel want to really put Prophecy out of their comfort zone, it's got to be ground game. Because right now, they're playing so fast. All three of Mummy Snow, Sebedam, and Ignite are just playing so quickly that popping the ball into the air towards them is almost never going to work, because they're going to get up and beat you to it right there. They're trying to pop it towards Prophecy's half, but Prophecy are already in position to challenge every single time. And I think ground play might favor them a little bit better. Just try and keep it low so that their pre-jumping opponents don't get these ridiculously potent clears.
Well, both teams currently struggling to put any form of long-form offense onto the net, but that's going to be another miss there from Niels Cook. Just seems shaky at this point in time. Although, yet again, two players from Prophecy were committed over in the corner. It means Sebedam does have to wait for his opportunity to come in. Once again, two players committed upfield. It's going to allow Excel a pretty simple reprieve to get themselves out after a lovely 1v1 play by Potex. Looks to take it the entire way, but it was blocked at the last moment by iGnite. And we're going to stay at 1-0.
It was a very efficient ground play, though, by Pondix to get the ball into danger. And that's a great rebound by the aforementioned. He went up, ignored the defender, caught him whiffing. I think defense were winning the race here. Barely, maybe. It would have been a 50-50 at best, I think, actually. I have to correct myself in hindsight, because I only do have half sight available. Apologies for my miscalculation on the initial viewing from distance. But that is 1-1, and it was actually a great rebound by Pondix. It's hard to ignore the defender in that position. Just say, okay, I see the defender going up here, but I'm going to ignore him. Just look at the ball, focus on what I'm doing. That's exactly what Pondix did.
So now all tied up, 1 minute and 8 seconds remaining. Prophecy will want to try and counter back over. That is going to be the best way to do it. iGnite puts them 1 goal up. Incredible.
iGnite, how did he get this into the net? Oh, that sounds come off a defender. I was thinking, how on earth did he get around this? But it's taken a wicked deflection. Man, I feel so, I'm visually impaired. Shogun, help me out here. You can see me. I'm like leaning over thinking, how did iGnite put that in? I can't wait to see what he did. Oh, it's an own goal. Never mind.
Well,
but this isn't an own goal.
One for you.
That is the boomer.
Beautiful. Hit ball hit net, goal explodes. Very simple when we come to this sort of Rocket League. What a shot that was.
And in the words of iGnite himself, bim bam, just get it done. No nonsense. And he's a hat-trick hero for game 1. Really putting up a great performance here. He's had the crossbar pinch save. He's had the hat-trick. He's I've not seen the scoreboard, but I guarantee you he's at the top of it, because he's been grabbing points all over the place. Sends us from the air, though, brings it back within 1. That's a cheeky little aerial by him.
Absolutely. One more shot for Excel. They need to get themselves a goal nice and quick. They have managed to do so. Zenzus, nice little individual play from him, just making use of the space given, showing off why you have to try and keep yourself close to the midfield.
Don't often see Zenzus in the Batmobile, do we?
Well, I think we actually have more Batmobiles on the field than we have Octanes.
Yeah, we certainly got 2. We got Zenzus and Pond. We got Skyline for Sebedam. Octane for iGnite. Octane for Niels, I'm sure. But what is Mummystone driving? Mummistone's had an extremely quiet game despite the lead. He has not been...
Oh, he's an Octane.
Yeah, Octane. He's not had to do much as Mummystone, but that's not a bad thing. You know, he's not feeling the urgency to kind of force himself into the game, even though he might realize, okay, Ignite's carrying, but whatever. Let's just let Ignite carry, because that's still going to result in a win for us, as long as we don't make any huge blunders in the final 10 seconds. And it is now just up to Prophecy to ground it, and that is exactly what they do. 1-0 to Prophecy. And Excel, one of the clear top 2 teams coming into the Elite Series at the start of the season, have just dropped first game 1. But this, if they lose this won't be their first series loss. They did lose to Reason as well. There's Prophecy and Reason, the 2 teams who are really just showing up so well in Gfinity Elite Series Season 2. And it's just performances like this from Ignite.
Absolutely. Ignite is just... He owns the airs right now. Just no one capable of getting there before him. And even then, when he decides to take the ball to ground, even then he does tend to be winning the ball out.
Just playing very fast, very confidently. I don't recall him putting many feet wrong, and he's even forcing mistakes. Like we call it, it's half an own goal, half a forced error. Ignite, he was, I'm sure, fully aware that that was a pretty high potential outcome from that position. If you're just coming in to that 50-50 on the outside of the ball, there's a good chance it can deflect into the center, maybe even directly into the goal, catch Excel off guard, and that is exactly what happened.
Well, you did indeed say it. Well, earlier on we were talking about the fact that Prophecy, from the little earshot that we did get from our boys that were up there saying that communication was key, I think it needs to be a little bit more key at this point in time. We're seeing a lot of double commits from both these teams, offering up more space than really should be allowed, and quite frankly, the goals that we've seen scored so far have been fairly simple. Opportunity now on the backboard. Is going to go for the follow-up. No, going to leave it for Sebadam, who's going to tap that straight down, but unable to get up in time. And another one off the crossbar. Incredible start to this match, but no goals.
The recovery time from Prophecy, really something to behold, as we saw, it looked like they had a 4th player coming in there because they're going for so many shots, one after another. And we spoke about that before the series started. These guys have such quick recoveries. In particular, Sebadam is one player to watch, and Ignite looking just as fast as ever as well. One key thing, if you are going to double commit, make sure that at least one of you is landing on a wall, because that way you can get onto your wheels as fast as possible, get back into the play as fast as possible. If both players are just floating through the air, then floating back down to the ground again, that's not going to be fast recoveries. You don't have to see that from Prophecy. They're making sure if they do commit to the ball in the air, land on the wall after the fact.
You see Zenzas, he had to hesitate going for that shot.
Well, that's not a good clear.
For the first time, could still make something of this. But you know he wanted to take the original one, just hesitated a slight bit because he had 2 teammates over in the corner, double committing. Just need to calm it down a little bit. They are actually hurting themselves and forcing themselves to play slower through the idea that they want to try and play faster. Yeah,
they're trying to kind of predict where the ball is going to go before they see 100% that the ball is in fact taking the route they expect. And when the unexpected happens and you've put one foot in a particular direction that it turns out to be the wrong direction, you're in a lot of trouble because you're actually driving a car. You're not a human. You can't turn on the spot in Rocket League. You have to drive in a circle, and that takes time. But as for now, 0-0. It is Excel who have had the better chances in Game 2.
We really, as human beings, take advantage of the fact that we can pivot.
Yeah, pivoting is pretty useful.
It's an OP maneuver that we have.
Imagine if you could pivot in Rocket League. It's one set of wheels.
One instant turn per game.
Just like a jump.
Yes.
It's like it would invert your car, face the other opposite direction. That would be so strong.
Okay. Well, we're going to write all this down later on. We've got a proposal to send off. But
it's kind of like an instant half flip.
Oh, yes. Right. No, Johnny, we need to get to this later. This is all very interesting,
but there is a game happening.
The only proposal right now is Prophecy proposing that maybe Excel don't score on their net.
That's a decent proposal for Excel. Oh, that's another chance that this one does. Maybe no, it doesn't go in. I thought for sure that was going to cross the line, but it's just tantalizingly close, and then knocked to safety by Prophecy. Neil's looking a lot more alive, who maybe took a while to wake up, peel that squid off of his head. Might have been sapping out some of the energy. I can't see him up on stage there. Does he still have the squid on?
I'm assuming that because we can't see it. It was pretty high up. So
it was indeed pretty high.
It's off.
But yeah, that might have been taking away his energy. Oh, that's a dunk coming in. Ignite is ready for it. He's going to play this one slow. That's smart. And he's got the outplay on the wall. Here comes a pre-jump from Mummy Snow to the backboard. Pretty far wide, though. Sebadam would be a fool to commit to a 50-50 there.
More and more passing plays coming through, though, from Prophecy. They seem to be finding their rhythm, seem to be finding their rate.
Oh, my goodness.
They are going to find themselves the net.
That is just so well done by Prophecy. Mummy Snow with a really, really quick aerial, and he gets it bar down and in. He did what Excel could not. They hit the bar, and it just bounced straight down and then straight up and over the net. But Prophecy looking really sharp. Mummy Snow, he was quiet last game, but this is why he's, shown to be such an important player for Prophecy this season, is that even when iGnite isn't being the best player in the league, and when Sebadam isn't causing 9 million problems a game for his opponents, Mummy Snow just sneaks in there and scores a goal.
Excel Esports just showing off in that little play there that the more and more you hit the bar, eventually you're going to have to pay the tab. And Prophecy, they were that tab. You're proud of me there?
Oh my goodness. If only one of them was playing mouse and keyboard, he might literally hit tab. Alt tab out the game. He's like, well, that's about as good as it's going to get for us today. After that joke, what a save off the post this time. Prophecy really are using every upright off their own goal to keep the ball away from danger. Final minute. We're well into the final minute, in fact, as Prophecy lead Excel yet again. They really have shown up so big this season, wanting to keep the perfect record. One of two teams who have a perfect record at this moment, the other being Reason, who we'll see in the last match of the day. Prophecy wants to put the pressure back on them, but that's a great pass, saved. It's almost caught the defense napping. Final 10 seconds approach. Excel have to equalize now if they want to take this into overtime. It just does not look likely. Prophecy are well spread. They've got boost, and they've got a lot of time to play with, and it is going to ground. Excel can't cause any more problems at the end of the game there.
Just so disciplined from Prophecy when it comes to their defense. They are waiting until the last possible moment before they try and go and challenge. And we actually saw how much use that comes in towards the end of that game, where we saw that late touch coming in from Zentus and almost misplaced any defender that came in early, but instead they waited and allowed themselves to come in and clear away any potential danger. But it's just stuff like this right now, bringing in more and more players. The thing that I would say right now about Excel is that they, more than any other team I've seen throughout this entire Gfinity series, they are allowed mistakes. Because even if someone makes one, they've got someone close enough to come in and sweep up.
And Prophecy were doing that as well, as iGnite with a goal line sweep to clean up for, I think it was Mummy Snow's bad.
Right.
Oh yeah, well, you're absolutely right there with your analysis. Just one incorrect word. We'll forgive you that.
Yeah, it's incredible how that can be so wrong.
For a man of so many words, to put one wrong is absolutely understandable.
It's incredible. I'm so great.
And well, Prophecy are pretty great right now, 2-0. That's a pretty good score. They've already secured 1 point, which the 3-2s don't happen very often in the Elite Series. So, of course, the team who lose 3-2 pick up 1 point in the league, and the team who win pick up the full 3. But Prophecy, they are looking for a lot more than 1. They want to put that pressure back onto Reason before the end of the day.
And even that 1 point does become such a huge difference maker towards the end of the season. We saw it make the difference last season. Pretty much the difference maker between teams getting in and teams going out. So just being able to force this to be a close series is the most important thing. Sebadam will look to try and make this a Prophecy series. There's going to be the follow-up, but coming in from the wrong side was Mummy Snow. Always hard when you're coming in from the same way that the pass was taken. Yeah,
it's always a game of catch-up in that position. It was Infused's biggest problem in the first game of the day, that they just weren't spreading out to that far post. They were always playing catch-up in offense. The angle was against them. Prophecy, so far that hasn't been an issue. This is wide open, easiest goal Zensus will ever have in his career, and he doesn't miss it.
Yeah, really sloppy play here. Sebadam didn't catch the part of the wall that you needed to.
Bit of a panic.
Hard to predict.
Yeah, he might have thought he was getting a 50-50 there. That's the only explanation I could think of for why he would rush that ball so fast. Just worried that perhaps a shot is coming in from Excel, or even a pass off the back wall, but whatever Sebadam was thinking, he did not evaluate the situation correctly, and Excel will punish. You don't need to be an excellent shooter to score from that range.
I think our conversation earlier on, Johnny, told us, yes, you do.
Oh, of course.
I'm
right,
way more impressed than I should be right now.
Yeah, I'm very sorry, but You're absolutely right. Open nets are the hardest to score.
Oh, Mummy Snow tried to get the tap down, but caught it a little bit too heavy. So 7M has to come in pretty late, and Nails Cook now all the way downfield, but straight over into the middle. Excel, it's going to be interesting to see how they can do from a lead. 7M, that is...
that is the post.
That is not a fight you can win, my friend, but two...
Oh my goodness, Mummy Snow!
Mummy Snow can win argument against basically physics itself. What a shot!
That is just perfect from Mummy Snow. Drills it. Drills it right down the middle, but still, goalkeepers had no chance. That's akin to his, I think, a shout for goal of the season that he scored against Method. To just pull these out with such consistency, you're 1-0 down.
Does he owe you a favor in the future? Because that was a cannon.
Oh, man, it was insane.
And once again,
I think that's just completely given them all the momentum they're going to need, not just for this game, but for any that will follow in the season. Ignite showing us you don't need to hit the ball with power to set up a dangerous play. He pops it to the back wall with the belly of his car, which of course is going to be a slower hit for any of you newcomers to Rocket League. Just controlled it there, and 2-1. Mummy Snow's goal completely turning the momentum, any momentum that Excel had at the after the open net that Zensas did score. It's turned around, but now Zensa's in the pocket yet again. Good positioning by him.
We're going to take a look at Pondex throughout this play as well. He was just being a nuisance over in the background, not allowing Mummy Snow to move.
Yeah, Mummy Snow couldn't get there in time.
That is going to be an open shot there for Zensus. Much needed there from Excel, tying this game back up. 3 minutes and 11 remaining. Remember, Prophecy do take the win here. They will take the series and move themselves to 4-0 in Season 2 of the Gfinity Elite Series, which will be absolutely huge for them. Talking earlier about the team 4 who's struggling to find their way through. That would almost confirm them for our semi-finals.
Oh, yeah. Especially with other teams like Infused and Epsilon already so far down in the standings.
We've got 6 teams effectively fighting out.
Yeah, it is just a battle of 6 now, fighting for 4 spots. But Prophecy, they can go one better. They don't just want to win this series. If they can 3-0 Excel, a team who missed out on the World Championships by a single best of 7, and what a statement that is to sweep these guys who, coming into the league, we thought they were going to be up there with Method as the two teams to beat.
Still 2 minutes 20 remaining. Ignite just going to be by his lonesome for the time being. Wants to try and set something up. Ignite and 7M always quite close to one another. That was a bad touch there from Mummy Snow. There is going to be the hat trick, and it's going to be the hero that Excel needs.
It's just the hat trick of tap-ins from Zensas. I think the combined range of that might just about equate to the edge of the box for all 3 of his goals, which is that's a talent in itself, just to be there at the right time. He didn't need to change his speed much in that approach. He was just there exactly when he needed to be. So it's confirmed Zensas is in fact a wizard.
His ability to read the game has been on show throughout this entire season.
Oh, it's double touch setup.
Okay, we know he's good at those, but not that good at those.
You can see the Pondex reaction to the danger. He's like, oh no, Mummy Snow's going to double touch this. I need to get up right now, or else I'm going to get beat. That's just the level of respect these guys have for each other. As the post gets rattled yet again, that's an unfortunate follow-up by Ignite. Kind of tracking across the box there, preventing a teammate from coming in and taking a shot from the Zensas position. 3-2, it is Excel who have the right side of the scoreline for the first game, the only game that they've had a lead in this entire series. They've just got to avoid some flair from Mummy Snow, and I think they should be able to cross the finish line here.
Well, there's going to be Niels Cook trying to show off some of his own flair. Couldn't do much, though, before he was just made into rubble. Now an opportunity, Prophecy trying to find themselves a way back in. They would love to try and finish this off against potential rivals in the future. Denying those extra points could be so crucial. As they continue to try and play out. 7M thought about it, just thought better of it, though. Now straight into side. Zensas read this really well, though. Continues to show off that incredible game-reading ability that he just has. And he's just going to turn himself into a wall. Eventually, 7M has to come in and become the sledgehammer.
I mean, if anybody's going to rescue you from that situation, it's got to be 7M, one of the best 50-50ers in the game. He's like EU fireburners at times. People call it luck, but 7M, if you can do it right so many times, is probably going to change your mind about that. Either way, just over 20 seconds remain.
There's no luck when it comes to physics.
It is a physics-based game. The only luck in Rocket League is which side you spawn on after you get demolished. It's the only randomness. And I guess kickoff spawns as well, but that's a randomness that you get to pause before you go into the play. 5 seconds. Well. Excel trying to make the start of a comeback. A Prophecy might not be done yet. Oh, that's a great shutdown though by Zensas, and it should grind, and it will. Game 3 to Excel.
Just a little bit more chaotic that time around. Seems like the rotations there from Prophecy just weren't quite as solid as usual. They wanted to try and finish off this match as quickly as they possibly could, and they ended up paying for it. But iGnite, he seems to be finding space. The main problem I have right now with iGnite's play right is that he's staying around too long. Because he's winning so many challenges downfield, he keeps thinking, okay, I can keep doing this, when he can turn around and leave someone else to come in. Yeah,
he can do too much at times, or try to do too much at times. So we saw in game 1, iGnite doing everything worked out great, because his teammates were like, yep, we're going to give you the space. But when MummySnow is having a bit more of a good game of his own, I think iGnite then needs to maybe take a step back and give MummySnow some space, because it isn't just the iGnite show, it's the Prophecy show.
Exactly.
And so far they're 2-1. They're still in a great spot, but they don't want to give even a single point from this series to Excel. They want to shut them out completely points-wise. They've already failed with the sweep. I'm sure they'll be disappointed with that fact. These guys, although at the start of the season we would have called them underdogs, they absolutely consider themselves to be favorites in every matchup.
Oh, Sebadam, his first touch wasn't great, but there was no touch following it, so at the end of the day, over the last 5 seconds, his poor touch was still the best one. Start off this game, just so much chaos. All these teams trying to get something going for themselves. Ponex would love to try and follow that up, but instead will be pushed into the corner. End-to-end gameplay to start us off. Niels Kirk taps and backs down, recognizing that the first touch was just a little bit too heavy. One more end-to-end gameplay, though. Expect them to start calming themselves down, especially as the boost is starting to become just a little bit more of a finite resource.
Great dunk by Zen. Zensas the hat-trick hero from last game. Will Excel be able to put him into that danger zone again? It was, in fact, Niels who was in the Zensas zone right there. And the ball is going to lob, but it's going to be in. MummySnow back on the scoreboard. We saw just a bit of a traffic jam from Excel, but good pass to himself by MummySnow, just beating Zensas to the punch.
And I love right there that he actually broke out of rotation now a little bit. He saw the 2 players back, realized, okay, I have an opportunity now to go and take this ball over, so cut across the entire field and took that ball and made it his own. Rather than just sort of, and you see a lot sometimes from pretty much every player we see online where they sort of go and play as simple as they possibly can, not wanting to break out the rotation, but instead he had the confidence to do it. Yeah,
MummySnow is a player with a bit of a unique play style. This is a great position by him. He's going to be so disappointed with his shot, because he set himself up for greatness with that wide position. Here he goes up again. He's just making the defense question whether or not he's going to hit that ball. Even if he does miss, it's still not easy to clear, as we can see. But it was a comeback from Excel from 2-1 down last game. They've shown that they are able to come back, but they're in a difficult spot. Demo from iGnite. It's crucial that Excel beat iGnite to that ball. He was coming in for a shot, which would have been impossible to save reactively.
Zensas got to put that one up high. Follow-up shot from
iGnite.
He will not miss the Zensas. Incredible recovery. And now he needs the rest of his team to help him get this ball away, because another shot comes in from Sebadam. And there is going to be MummySnow. You saw him coming in from the wrong side. It's going to be pressure is given up as iGnite. You know he can hit them often, but he couldn't hit it that time around. Prophecy still tapping away at the goal. Can they find a way through? No, still not. Excel continue to hold on.
Oh my goodness, it was real trouble, and it still is as Sebadam gets a pump onto an Excel defender. Excel need Zensas to keep up this performance, because right now he is doing so well. He has been their star player all over the field today. But is that going to be enough as Prophecy pile on the pressure? They're not sitting on this 1-0 lead. They've not parked the bus. They've taken that bus right up the field, and they're just ramming it right into Excel.
And breathe. Finally out of their half. And start thinking about it yet again, because they are immediately back into the offense. Prophecy, I love this strategy from them right now, because we talk about how much they're aiming for that second goal. They haven't got the rotation wrong once so far, and look at the timer already. 1 minute and 45 remaining, and they haven't even let Excel take a little whiff at their goal.
Finally, Excel are starting to gain some territory, and this is a shot opportunity. Niels just gets beaten to it, though, by Ignite. It's Zensus again. He's just putting that ball back into the danger area. I think he just needs a little bit of help from Niels or Pondix. Because if we do see Zensus in the middle, he's scored every single time he's been there. There he is again! This time it does get saved. But it has been Zensus. He looks like the player with the most purpose on Excel in front of goal.
And Prophecy, there are two players turned exactly side on. Their best hope was just to jump and maybe believe that the ball would hit them.
Oh, it's
and
another open
now
net.
Ignite takes a shot at the net, but Niels Cook is there just in time. Excel holding on to this series with all they can.
1 minute.
But they need to get themselves out of this half as quickly as they possibly can. There's going to be a tap up there from Ignite.
Oh.
The final defender, 7M.
Oh,
off the crossbar.
Beautiful. As the Dabbing Reaper makes his first appearance for Sebedam. Ignite.
Greg just needed a wave.
Did Greg indeed?
He's looking at him.
Oh, I didn't see him. That was
so happy.
It was to my left, so I had no idea.
Oh, you've got no idea what
I have no peripheral vision on that side. But Gregan is very happy to see that. He's saying, look guys, that's what I'm dressed up as.
Oh yeah, by the way, Gregan's here as a Dabbing Reaper.
Did he not tell anybody that?
No, I'm just, for everyone else that maybe didn't hear it, you need to know, otherwise you're just not going to get it.
It just looked at times it looks like he's just wearing a hoodie. The little,
it does, doesn't it?
The little painted on.
Most street I've ever seen him.
Yeah, he's got a lot of credibility right now. But those, I know the little glow-in-the-dark paint strips that he's got on, they look like Adidas stripes to me.
Well, speaking of which, Excel needs to get themselves something and needs to get it now, otherwise their series will be dead. Only 15 seconds remaining, and it is still, yet again, as the story of this entire match has been, stuck in their half.
And are they about to drop their second series of the Elite Series Season 2 before they even play against Method? It looks likely. Can Prophecy ground it? They get some help in doing so, and Excel have fallen again. It is Prophecy 3-1.
I mean, sometimes we can turn around and just say, maybe if it was a longer series, the other team would have come back. But quite frankly, from what we saw in that first game, Prophecy would have just got stronger and stronger and stronger. Maybe they could have taken Excel from maybe 10 seconds out of their half to maybe 5, maybe 0. Because that entire last game was domination.
Yeah, I don't think even a best of 19 would have saved Excel there. Prophecy were just going from strength to strength. Even the game that they did lose, they had the lead for a good portion. They were just looking so threatening. Got to give a lot of credit to Sebedam as well. He scored the winning goal in the final game, but for the previous 3, he was just a defensive powerhouse. Great challenge timing, throwing in some fake challenges here and there just to throw off the approach of Excel, just breaking their rhythm before they even get the chance to set up a shot. And it was that was just the anchor that Prophecy built their entire strategy on.
Man, Prophecy, only one criticism, and that was with the shooting. Because, yes, they won. They should have won by way more. A 2-0 is not showing enough in that game. They had 2 really good clear-cut chances. They'll want to start taking those opportunities more because there are some big games in the future. But for Prophecy, they've got to be looking at this new roster and just going, okay, we did good. We're happy with this.
Pretty good. I hope they don't get overconfident, but for now, that's going to be it from us. We're going to throw it over to Ariel, who is up there on the stage.
Still don't know what to do when that Halloween music comes on. I don't know if we should do a dance or a scary face. Anyway, we're here with the winners. I feel like this is like a recurring theme, like Groundhog Day, because I'm always talking to you guys, because you're always winning. Yes?
Yes.
How was that for you? Was it easy breezy? Was it hard going?
I mean, they haven't played a lot in the last 2 weeks. Like Nostrut and Zensus have 20 outs in the past 2 weeks, so they kind of deserve to lose that.
They deserve. I like this. You're going in. Well, that's the thing. If you put in the time and practice, then you win. Is that what you guys are doing, Ignite?
Yeah, we're practicing with scrimming as much as we can.
Yeah.
Good teams if they would actually let us scrim them. Hopefully, sometimes.
Right, so we're going to be looking towards the end of the series now, because I think it's safe to say you guys are probably going to be towards, well, let's say, hopefully the finals. Who would you love to come up against in the finals, if you get there?
In the finals? I don't know. Every team's pretty good. I don't know.
Come on, Sebedam, give me a team.
Prophecy.
Prophecy, against.
Prophecy.
How about you, Ignite?
I can answer that after we play Endpoint again.
Ah, okay, so you're looking at last year's champions. What about you, Mummy Snow?
I would like to play Method in the final. We have, me and a lot have some rivalry.
That's definitely something that we would like to see, but I mean, you beat them already, haven't you?
Yeah, but they're going to bring their full squad to the playoffs.
Oh, okay. I get it now. They actually want the destroyers. Well done, guys, again. I'm sure I'll see you again next week once you've won another game. Back to you guys, Tom.
Thank you very much, Ariel. Yes, there you go. Savage Sebadam, not holding back, talking about Zenzus. What explain or break down what he was saying there about the Excel boys?
Such a calm, quiet guy. And then he comes out with that.
Yeah,
which is
perfect timing.
Has it died yet? I thought the dab died in 2016, but
you're keeping it alive.
You are the sole reason it's still here.
And talking about fancy dress, look, are we having addressed Shoguns? Like, he looks like the offspring of Dracula and Austin Powers. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Handsome. Like the ruffles, but also the cape. Like, weird.
That is groovy, baby. Listen, I'll tell you what. Let's look at some of the goals from Prophecy, because they've got it all, haven't they? Really, and that confidence, they exude that confidence at the moment because no one else is stepping up close to them at the moment.
Yeah, I have to agree. And the reason that I picked them, not to just rub this in, Greg, and got my prediction right, was the reason that they just seem to get better and better every week that we see them. You know, Excel had a really strong performance in the RLCS, and Prophecy fell short, but we've just seen how much Prophecy have improved since that time. They just look so good, so solid. I think Shogun mentioned at the end there, that should have been a much easier win from them. They just need to convert a few more of their chances. And I'm looking forward here because I look at Prophecy and how good they're looking. That's 4 wins in a row from them. They're undefeated so far. And on the other side, I'm looking at Excel. That's 2 losses in 2 weeks, and they've got Method up next.
Yeah.
So we talked about how important this mid-season is for all of these teams. I mean, Excel are going to have to pull out the bag next week because otherwise they're going to be in where they don't want to be.
Yeah. Gregan.
Yes.
I mean, like the dab, are they in or out Excel? You know, what's happening?
I think they peaked for RLCS. They did very well when it came around, and the Pondex coming in, it was the honeymoon phase where they were playing really well. But as Sebadam mentioned, they're just not practicing as much now as they were then because that was their big opportunity. They saw it as a chance to really excel, and then now, your face... Stone cold.
Mate, I'm just taking on board everything that I'm being told in my ear. Don't you worry about that, mate. Don't ruin the magic right now. So I've got to listen and you can't build down the magic. This is our special Halloween.
Guys, calm it down.
You look amazing.
Excel do it? Can Excel get back on track?
Excel just need to start grinding again. They need to take this as seriously as they took RLCS, and I think they can because they have the raw talent to do it.
Okay. All right. Well, gentlemen, I feel like we are going to keep our friendship alive. We'll have some snacks on set. Thank you very much. And Gregan. Listen, now we are going to take a short break for some snacks, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we've got match 4, Reason versus Envy still to bring you. And if you miss it, it will haunt you forever. See you very soon. Snacks.